A TRAPSTR with 3 cheering by 3 different women meets a newly divorced woman who loves telling all her little business to complete strangers. Hello, honey. What could possibly go wrong? Shit, everything. We've already shared our red flag video about this hot, stinking mess, which we've linked in the description box. And now that we're aware that differences in family values were at the root of Jeezy filing for divorce from Jeannie Mai after 2 years of marriage, we decided to explore this topic a bit deeper by digging all up in these people's business. Yeah. But before we jump into it, you know, I put on for my snacks, on for my snacks. I put on for my snacks, on for my snacks. Put on. Now go ahead and bust open a bag of beef or bacon jerky, green apple licorice, and butter toffee peanuts from rrgsnacks.com, our online concession stand that has thousands of 5-star reviews. Go ahead then. In order to explore this topic, we have to give you a brief rundown of their respective childhoods. Jay Jenkins, better known as Jeezy, was born on September 28, 1977 in Columbia, South Carolina. He told XXL magazine he doesn't remember much about his early years. He recalls moving around a lot since his father was in the Marines, and then they moved to Hawkinsville, Georgia. Later on, his dad was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. In his memoir, which we've linked in the description box, Jeezy wrote that he felt completely out of place. He wanted to do hood rat things with his friends, so he always sought out other kids who were into the kinds of things he liked to do, which included stealing money and liquor, getting into fights, and trying to talk to girls. Badass. Although he embraced the culture and fell in love with the cuisine, he had sticky fingers and would steal whatever he could get his hands on. Eventually, after getting caught stealing from one of the stores on the military base, his dad sent Jeezy, his mom, and his sister back to the States. He just f***ed up for everybody, didn't he? He remembers his parents eventually splitting up, and from that point forward, he describes the rest of his childhood as being empty. He looked up to his older cousins who were making serious money selling substances in the streets of Atlanta, and Jeezy wanted a piece of the pie. In his documentary called A Hustler's Ambition, he revealed he started selling substances sometime around the age of 11. In the lyrics of his songs, he discusses selling substances to his mom and his uncles, which is something he would later regret. His mom also battled alcoholism and would take her anger out on Jeezy for her failed relationship with his father. She would call him all kinds of terrible names, and sadly, it didn't faze him because he was used to that kind of treatment. In his memoir, he wrote that one of his aunts called him Jerry's kids. In case you're unaware, this is a derogatory term used to reference the children who received support from the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Jeezy became the breadwinner as a young teen, and their dynamics changed. I bet they did. He told ESPN he started skipping school and would talk back to her since he was the one who paid for the $6,500 trailer they were living in. After an intense altercation, she pulled out a weapon and told him to get out. He briefly lived with his dad up until his dad kicked him out. Then he stayed with his aunt and his grandmother. He started selling substances from his auntie and his grandmother's home and eventually dropped out of school. After getting caught on a possession charge, he spent 9 months at a Savannah, Georgia boot camp. While there, he earned his GED, and he also found out he was expecting his first child, a son who was born in 1996. According to our research, he welcomed his second son with another woman sometime around 1997. He didn't waste no time. After leaving boot camp, he decided it was time to explore a different way to make money. He started rapping under the name Lil J before changing his name to Young Jeezy. In 2004, he signed with Bad Boy Records and released one album with the group Boys in the Hood. He eventually became a solo artist and signed to Def Jam. And well, the rest is history. In 2015, he announced he was the father of a baby girl, making him a father of 3. The following year, he proposed to his daughter's mother, but their relationship didn't last. Although he's far removed from his previous lifestyle, he's been caught up in some drama ever since he made it big, which includes public beefs with other artists. And then in 2012, his eldest child's mother accused him of putting his hands on their son. Insiders close to the situation told TMZ the child's mother was brainwashing their son against Jeezy to squeeze more money out of him. Now, I ain't saying she a gold digger. On the flip side, he serves as a mentor for young artists, and he has a portfolio full of expensive real estate investments. He owns a few orphanages in Mexico, and he's the founder of Street Dreams Foundation, a nonprofit that serves to motivate at-risk youth. He's also a silent partner to several Atlanta eateries and even developed his own line of cognac. So by the time he met Jeannie Mai in November 2018, when he appeared as a guest on The Real, he had dropped the word young from his rap moniker and had become known as a businessman who had completely turned his life around for the better. As for Jeannie, she was born on January 4, 1979 in San Jose, California, as one of 3 children. Beginning at the age of 9 and for several years, she was violated by a 16-year-old male family member. She told People magazine she tried to tell her mom, who's referred to as Mama Mai, what was going on when she was about 13. But Jeannie said Mama Mai was confused and couldn't understand what she was trying to tell her. As the violations became more aggressive, Jeannie once again tried to open up to her mom a few years later, but her mom didn't believe her. After not getting the response she expected from Mama Mai, Jeannie left home at the age of 16 and didn't talk to her mom for the next 8 years. It wasn't until they finally reconnected that Jeannie was able to convince her mom of what really happened. Mama Mai told People magazine, "I really listened to her every single detail. I was really shocked. It was a real thing. All I can say is, I'm really sorry." Yeah, you're sorry, all right. Jeannie and Mama Mai spent the next years rebuilding their relationship. Although they are still working through the trauma and dealing with family struggles, they are closer than ever. Jeannie married Freddie Harteyes in 2007, and they split up in 2017 after 10 years of marriage. Jeannie later revealed that her reluctance to have children due to her own childhood trauma played a major role in her divorce. Jeannie was stuck paying him alimony as Freddie moved on and started a family with his new wife, Lindsay Toole. During an episode of The Real, Jeannie said that having to pay him alimony taught her a valuable lesson to look out for herself. Her words were shared on Instagram, which prompted Lindsay to take to the social media platform and say, "Your complete focus on yourself is why you're divorced. Yourself being the most important thing to you in the entire world is why you keep making up lies for more attention. Ain't nobody talking about you because we don't care. Stop trying to tear someone down who has done absolutely nothing to you." I bet you're spending that damn alimony check though. Mama Mai moved in with Jeannie following her divorce. Jeannie told Entertainment Tonight that it was really awkward trying to date while having her mother in the same house as her because Mama Mai was so nosy. Ooh, ghetto. So why didn't she tell Mama Mai to get to steppin'? Well, according to Cultural Atlas website, family is the most important aspect of life in Vietnam, and it isn't uncommon for 3 generations to live under the same roof. 3? Jeezy was surely aware of this tradition prior to getting serious with Jeannie, right? Sure don't seem like it. On her YouTube channel, Jeannie confirmed they spent a considerable amount of time learning about each other's culture and childhood. On one of their first dates, he took her around his hometown of Hawkinsville, where she got to meet some of his family members and friends. And to celebrate their first Christmas together in December 2019, they planned a trip to Vietnam so he could get a first-hand experience of her culture. Unfortunately, the COVID cases were already on the rise in Asian countries by that point, so they decided to cancel their vacation. Jeezy planned to propose to her in Vietnam, but instead he waited until March 2020 and proposed to her at home, where he recreated her country as best he could right there inside of their home. Aww. In February 2021, he revealed that his mom passed away. Following her passing, he and Jeannie realized that life's too short and tomorrow is never promised. So they decided to get married expeditiously. Now, some may say they got married for all the wrong reasons, but either way, they tied the knot in March 2021, and Jeannie gave birth to their daughter, Monaco, in January 2022. In other words, they didn't get much time to enjoy life as newlyweds before adding a new member to their family. And since it was the first grandchild in Jeannie's immediate family, her family members were extremely excited about the new arrival. We took a look at a few of Jeannie's YouTube videos following Monaco's birth and discovered a recurring theme. Jeezy was nowhere in sight, child. Now where the hell was he Yeah. In May 2022, Jeannie told People magazine that while motherhood was a joyous experience, she was managing a severe case of postpartum anxiety. She also said that during the first month of her daughter's life, she was at home with Monaco every single day, all by herself. Due to COVID, she didn't want a lot of people around her daughter. And apparently, Jeezy was gone doing whatever the hell he was doing. Damn shame. By June 2022, Jeannie, Monaco, and Jeannie's brother Dennis were in Boston for a project Jeannie was working on. In a YouTube video, Jeannie said they had been in the city for the past month while Jeezy was on a couple of tours and traveling. The past month? Girl. She mentioned that Jeezy checked in with Monaco every day, but a FaceTime check-in can't replace real-life interactions. Our nosy selves were able to confirm that Jeezy was indeed on tour, but as long as he's been in the game and with all the business ventures he likes to brag about, surely he could have taken a little time off to be with his wife and his new daughter, right? Trifling as hell. In another YouTube video posted in November 2022, Jeannie can be seen traveling to Augusta, Georgia to visit Jeezy's father and his wife without Jeezy. I know you lying. Jeannie brought the baby, her brother Dennis, and 2 additional people from her team on the trip. In the video, adorable little Monaco can be seen bonding with her grandparents and extended family members, and Jeannie looks right at home and very comfortable with her in-laws. But still, Jeezy couldn't take the weekend off to accompany her on the trip? You ain't rapping all day. When Jeezy did spend time at home, things were a bit chilly, according to Jeannie. In a YouTube video, she revealed that if she didn't engage with Jeezy in a certain way, he would turn cold as ice. She added,
He will act like you don't exist.
Sensitive ass. You have a man with sensitivity, a man like Jeezy. Was the honeymoon over as quickly as it started? And was Jeezy already checked out? Apparently so. In May 2023, they were finally able to take the trip to Vietnam that they had planned to take back in December 2019. But it didn't appear that Jeezy was even interested in going by that point. Jeannie said in a YouTube video that she had to force him to take 3 weeks off from work so they could go on vacation. In the footage, Jeezy barely speaks 3 words, and 2 of them were in Vietnamese.
Come on, G. Baby, say come on.
Come on.
Jeannie also had Jeezy the snowman out there looking crazy on the back of someone's Vespa. Less than a month after returning from their trip, Jeezy signed the divorce paperwork and stated they were currently separated. He also stated the marriage was irretrievably broken, with no hope for reconciliation. For whatever reason, he held on to the paperwork and didn't file it at first, but it was clear he had already made his decision. Now, we ain't ones to gossip, but you know that memoir Jeezy released in August 2023, the one that's now a New York Times bestseller? It's a great book, and we've linked it in the description box if you want to check it out. But anyway, the book is about how he turned his life around despite having the odds stacked against him. He started writing portions of the book during the time they were together, and you would think he would include at least a paragraph or 2 about his marriage and his new baby, right? Yeah, no. What? There's not one mention of Jeannie's name in the entire book. Even in the acknowledgments, which are written in the 3rd person, Jeannie still doesn't get a shout out. Damn. The book states, Jeezy would like to thank the streets, God, his family, his day ones, and every DJ who ever played his records. This ninja. Jeezy finally filed the divorce paperwork on September 14th, 2023. As the internet blew up and speculated as to what the hell happened between them, social media users went looking for clues. Inspector Gadget ass. In an Instagram photo posted a day before he filed for divorce, Jeezy wrote in his caption, "Too focused on who I'm becoming to focus on who's not coming with me." Then there were rumors that Jeannie was having an affair with TV personality Mario Lopez. He is fine though. Sources close to Jeannie called that rumor a lie. So what really went down? Well, a source told Entertainment Tonight that they weren't on the same page when it came to certain family values and expectations. In addition to that, they had different views, and each felt like their needs weren't being completely met. Now, obviously, we're unaware of the exact differences that caused their split. However, Jeannie has spilled some details about their family life that point to some of the struggles they may have faced. During an episode of The Real, Jeannie stated that before she gave birth, Mama Mai flew into town unexpectedly. Jeannie wasn't there, so Jeezy picked Mama Mai up from the airport. Jeannie said Jeezy called her and asked how long Mama Mai would be staying with them since she arrived with 5 suitcases, 4 hat boxes, 3 wigs, and a bunch of shoes that she reportedly shoved inside Jeezy's closet. Oh no, the hell she didn't. Hell no to the no, no, no. Hell to the no. Jeannie told him she didn't know how long Mama Mai was staying. And in Asian culture, you just assume family members will stay as long as they want. She should have talked to some black folks before marrying that black man. We would have told her that shit wasn't gonna work. Jeannie noted that it wasn't Jeezy's style to have someone in the house when he was trying to relax. So she had to have a conversation with her mom, and she made sure Jeezy spoke to Mama Mai as the man of the house. Jeannie was laughing as she told the story, but we're sure Jeezy didn't crack a smile as it all went down. It's a big adjustment to go from living a private and secluded life to having unexpected visitors invading your personal space. Although they made an effort to learn about each other's culture, it's different when you're actually in the thick of cultural differences and dealing with meddling in-laws. And then, before they got married, Jeannie made it clear that she was ready to be a submissive wife. But after tying the knot, perhaps she didn't keep her end of the bargain. They never do. In an October 2021 chat with YouTuber Shan Booty, Jeannie stated that, like most of the people in her family, she had a really bad temper and no one ever checked her for her anger issues. But with Jeezy, she made a conscious decision to change since her temper and hurtful words would trigger Jeezy and he would clap back at her. Learned your lesson quick, didn't you?
He never told me to fix my temper. I just saw it and I thought, unless I want to stay in this place where I lose this person I love and I stay in my comfort zone of doing what I want to do and function the way I have for the last 40 years when nobody else had to stop me.
Which obviously has done quite well for you.
Right, I could have. But this was something greater that I wanted.
Remember, we mentioned early on in the video that Jeezy's mom would lash out at him and would take her anger out on him about her failed relationship with his father. And remember how we stated she would call him horrible names, but it didn't bother him because he was used to people talking down to him, including other family members? Despite Jeezy claiming he was unaffected, the subconscious mind holds on to those memories and interactions, and they can play out in various ways in later years. Since a child's brain is still developing at the time the verbal abuse takes place, it causes the brain to adapt to that type of treatment. Those who are born in safe and attentive environments have brains that develop normally, while structural changes in the gray matter of the brain can be seen in those who've dealt with verbal abuse. As far as the long-term impact, PsychologyToday.com reveals that verbal abuse that occurs during childhood can cause an adult to be very critical of themselves and overly sensitive. This appears to be something Jeezy has dealt with as well, thanks to Jeannie telling the world he would turn cold as ice if she didn't engage with him in a certain way. Thankfully, Jeezy has taken the time to tackle this subconscious programming that was installed during his childhood. During an October 2022 appearance on Drink Champs, he stated he was learning how to only seek validation within himself, and he had learned the art of practicing self-love. Those who have followed Jeezy's career know that he's notoriously private. Aside from the coded messages in his lyrics and the revelations in his latest memoir, he tends to keep his private life away from the public eye. His withdrawn nature is in direct contrast to Jeannie's tendency to overshare almost every aspect of their lives. She was constantly filming YouTube videos, providing updates about Monaco's development, and hashing out her family issues in front of cameras. In addition to that, they were frequently apart. Perhaps Jeannie expected him to be more hands-on, while Jeezy was more content with being out in them streets and performing for his fans. Despite these issues, some people think their marriage can be saved, and Jeannie isn't planning on giving up without a fight. A source told Page 6 she was devastated that Jeezy ended things, and she loved him deeply and wanted to work things out. The insider added that Jeannie was holding out hope that he would be willing to sit down and work things out. Although her parents are divorced, most Vietnamese consider divorce an admission of failure and shame, so they tend to stay with their partners till death do them part. This also correlates to the low divorce rates among Vietnamese couples. This might explain why Jeannie is reportedly trying to work things out. Did Jeezy jump the gun by filing for divorce only 2 years after tying the knot? Some think so, but perhaps their differences were too extreme for them to find some common ground. If you enjoyed this video, let us know down below, and thanks for watching RRG.